Hey, what is up? So, as I guess predicted in the title, the race is, of course, postponed until Monday. So we'll get it in then. But I'll still go over the odds and who the favorites and all that good stuff should be. Let's see. Mr. Burger guy got wrecked out of the million. WTF says Bones. Yep, that's the way. That's the way it goes sometimes. At least he walked away from it. Wasn't a great looking wreck there, but at least he did walk away from it. But let's take a look here at who the favorites are going to be tomorrow at noon on USA. By the way. If you're going by average finish in the last three races at New Hampshire, being, of course, since 2020, Brad Keselowski with an average finish of 3.7, Kevin Harvick with 5.3, Denny Hamlin with 6.0, Martin Truex Jr. 6.3, Ross Chastain 8.0, Matt DiBenedetto not in it, but he is sixth at 8.5 in his two races there. Chase Elliott 9.7 is seventh. Christopher Bell is eighth with 10.3, Kyle Larson 10.5, Joey Logano 10.7, Jimmy Johnson 11th. Eric Almirola would be your actual 10 since you take out DiBenedetto and Jimmy Johnson at 13.0. Let's go to the previous winners, and you got Eric Almirola, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski are your past winners in the last three races since 2020. Of course, let's go to laps led because I think that's an important stat as well. And then we'll get to top fives and top tens. 237 laps led for Brad Keselowski. Martin Truex Jr. has 172 laps led. 93 for James Dennis Allen Hamlin. Chase Elliott at 75. 72 for Harvick. 69, nice, for Ryan Blaney. 42 for Kurt Busch and Christopher Bell also. And then everybody else is in the 20s if they have any laps led here at all. So let's go to top fives. Joey Logano has two top fives. Christopher Bell, two. Kevin Harvick, two. Martin Truex Jr. has two. Brad Keselowski has two as well. So those are your top fives. And let's see, top tens. It's looking like, let's see here. I don't know if you can do top tens on the MGM deal. But three for Denny Hamlin, three for Keselowski, and three for Harvick. Then you've got Logano, Bell, Truex, Almirola, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain at two. So it's looking by the numbers. If you're just looking at the numbers here, it's looking strongly for Brad Keselowski. That's why I put him up there in the poll. Kevin Harvick also pretty strong there. Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. also looking very strong there. Ross Chastain kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't expecting him to be as good as he is here. But now let's look at the BetMGM and the odds that they are given. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? Looks like we have a race tomorrow. Looked at the radar earlier, and I'm not surprised. We got a huge downpour overnight, and it moved east to New Hampshire. Yeah, so that 100% they are putting it off until tomorrow. So we will have to see. Hopefully they get it in tomorrow. I haven't looked at the weather for tomorrow yet, but hopefully they get it in tomorrow. Martin Truex Jr. is your they're favoring Martin Truex Jr. here at plus 300. Christopher Bell plus 400. Denny Hamlin plus 1,000. Kevin Harvick plus 1,000. Those are your top four according to BetMGM. At least the Virginia branch. That's the feed I get. I don't know if they change it regionally. I'm sure they do. Ryan Blaney plus 1,100. William Byron plus 1,200. Joey Logano plus 1,300. Kyle Larson plus 1,400. Kyle Busch plus 1,600. And Chase Elliott plus 1,800. Chase Elliott said this isn't one of his better tracks, but statistically, I just read off the stats there. It looks like he's really good there. But the interesting one here is Brad Keselowski. All the numbers are saying Brad Keselowski should be one of your favorites here, but they've got him at plus 2,000. To me, that's a really interesting pick right there. I kind of like that one. And like I said, Ross Chastain, kind of a wild card as well. You don't expect him to be good here either. I like both of those picks at plus 2,000, plus 2,500. But I do think your winner is going to be either Martin Truex, Christopher Bell, or Brad Keselowski. Flip a coin. I think one of those guys are going to win. Denny Hamlin. This has typically been a Toyota track, but I like Brad Keselowski's statistics here. So, all right, let's get into the chat, see what you guys want to talk about. There is your preview. Let's see. Yes, for real, Jay. It was announced around 11 a.m. Yep. What's up, Belinda Booker? What's up in between the lanes? Good to see you on here. Jay Santos, dang it. Yep, they have called it. They called it this morning at some point. I think close to 11 o'clock makes sense because I think I put my thing up at 10, and then about an hour later, or I put the live stream is coming at 12:30 up at 10 o'clock. So I think about an hour later they announced it. Better than when they wait around all day to announce it. I can't stand that, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I agree. That's probably one of the most irritating things being a race fan. You know they're going to call the race, but they won't officially do it, so you're sort of held hostage and have to hang around. Let's see. Jay Santos saying true to NASCAR sometimes waiting way too long to call the races and all that good stuff. Hello all, Bell or Truex. Yeah, I think those are two really good picks. This has typically been a Toyota type track, so it's always just a crapshoot as to what's going to happen. But I mean, typically it's been Toyota. But like I said, I like Brad Keselowski. That might be that might be a underdog pick, but I'm liking Keselowski just looking at the numbers there. And the RFK program's been way better this season, so I'm leaning toward picking Keselowski to win this race. He should have won last week, so if he wins this week, it would sort of be the redemption arc. And plus, this is the racetrack where typically one guy hits the setup and everybody else is chasing them. Rain isn't spoiling my weekend. Picked up my C6, his red C6, a Corvette C6. I got you doing the taillights there. I like it. On Friday, I've been in the shop since March 7th. 19 is going to win tomorrow, calling it now. So, all right, so say Kyle is going with Truex there. And he just got his Corvette back, so that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Jay Campbell, radar showing rain clearing out. I think they should have given it more time, says Jay Campbell. So I don't know. I haven't seen any radars. I just know that they called it, so they'll hopefully get it in tomorrow. How many races out of the total so far have had weather issues? Somebody showed it. The last 5 weeks in a row have been affected by weather one way or the other. The first race of those 5 weeks, they moved the start time up and got the whole race in. But every single race since then has been had some type of weather issue. Seems like a lot compared to past years. It ebbs and flows. It just depends on the year. I remember one year, early 2000s, late 90s, it seemed like just about there was like an 8 or 9 week stretch where it was just rain. And one of them was, I think, snow at Atlanta. You remember the year Atlanta had snow? That was like in the 90s, I think. SRX got back, SRS back at Stafford Speedway next week or Thursday Night Thunder. For Thursday Night Thunder, yeah, that's going to be really cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was setting up to be a really good finish. I think Newman would have got him at the end because I think Newman had saved his tires. Him and Haley Deegan had a very similar strategy. You could tell they were saving tires. And Haley Deegan was charging at the end too. I think she would have got Paul Tracy, and I think that's about as far as she would have got. So she probably would have had, I can't remember, maybe a fourth. She would have had a fourth. And Ryan Newman, he definitely would have got that dub, in my opinion, because he saved tires. But those were the only two that I saw saving tires because I knew what they were doing early on. They were back in the pack in the heat races. They were just like sort of chilling. I kind of had the feeling that they were saving tires, and I was pleasantly proved right when Newman started making that charge at the end. So that was pretty cool. That's the first time I'd seen a race at Stafford, so that was also cool as well. Well put. All bets on Truex since they were running it on Monday, and also the Thursday night and having it back-to-back weekends. That's a huge benefit to the SRX series. The IROC series, to me, you never knew when the races were coming. They didn't have a set schedule like the SRX has, and the Thursday nights are just perfect for me because I can watch that, and it doesn't bleed into anything I do late model-wise or watching NASCAR. We'll put all bets on Truex since they're running it on Monday. Oh, that's a fair point, Napa Racing Fan. Mondays and Truex. There you go. I like it. Even Larry Mack joked on Race Hub that time that rainy days and Mondays don't get Martin down because when it rains on Sunday, he runs well on Monday. There you go. That's right. I forgot. I totally just hadn't thought about that, to be honest with you. So, yeah, Truex. Give a little bump to Truex there. I like Truex and Keselowski in that case then. I like Truex and Keselowski. Blame El Nino. El Nino. You remember the Chris Farley skit back in the day? El Nino. I don't know. Some people would probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Say, Kyle, it snowed at Bristol in the 2000s too, I think. Hey, there you go. So Bristol got some snow. I was not aware of that one. Martin Truex Jr. has won 3 or 4 times at Dover on Monday. I do remember the Bristol Snow now that you talk about it. Yeah, I do actually, because they were in toboggans and stuff, and I was like, that's pretty funny. Or winter hats if you live up north, because I think up north a toboggan is a sled. So I don't know. Martin Truex Jr. has won in the South. A toboggan is just a winter hat. Martin Truex Jr. has won 3 or 4 times at Dover on Monday. Plus, he's run really well at New Hampshire in the past. Just hasn't gotten the wins there since never raced. Yeah, I agree. The radar projection shows rain all afternoon along the whole northeast, says Robert Marks. More recently, it snowed at Martinsville in 2018, where Clint Boyer won on Monday. It snowed, hailed, and sleeted last year, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, because I sat in it, and it was absolutely freaking miserable. But then they got the race in, and Fast Willie B won the race. More recently, it snowed in Martinsville in 2018, where Clint Boyer won on Monday. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Robin Marks, don't kick the baby. LOL. Don't kick the baby. That was OG South Park. I don't remember if they even do that anymore. Yep, for sure. I believe Martinsville was the last spring, almost postponed for snow showers. Yep. 1993 blizzard. I went. Jay Campbell. Yeah, it was for sure. It was rain, hail, sleet, and snow, and I sat through all of it like a dummy in the stands. 1990, and William Byron won that one. Lost my spot. Sorry. Goose Flat Waterfowlers. I'm just going to call you GFW. 1993 blizzard. I went to postpone a race a week later. My first race, never will forget. It had a terrible case of chicken pox, and won't forget Jeff Gordon almost winning it. Oh man, it's always good when your guy wins a race when you go to it, or almost wins, or just runs good. Woke up early for the stream when I got notified. Better late than never. West Coast living. What's up, Glock? Good to see you on here. Let's see. 12, 11, 10, 9 a.m., 9:42 over there on the West Coast. So appreciate you waking up early and getting on with us. Ian Fisher, SRX on ESPN, right? I set it for record. I set it for record, and no race ever showed up on my feed. I thought it got canceled or something. I don't know. I don't know if they bumped the start time up or what, but I saw it, and it was a pretty good race. They do have it up on YouTube if you want to watch the race now. I don't know if it's the official feed, but I did see where somebody had posted the full race on YouTube. It was Atlanta, says GFW. Shaw said, Robin Marks talking to Shaw. I actually made a joke yesterday during Gold and kicked the baby. Let's see, Robin Marks during golf. Yes, it's on ESPN. They even have an SRX on ESPN YouTube channel. Yeah, and I think for Canada, they I posted it on Twitter. I can't remember what it is now, but there is a way to watch it in Canada. I know because Canada has some type of ESPN situation where I don't know what's going on with that, but there is a way to watch it in Canada. There's a streaming service or something. Google says spring 06 was Bristol snow. So there you go, spring 06 Bristol snow. That is the one I remember then. So that's the one I'm remembering correctly as well. Our winter hats are I can't even Tooks. Let's see. Tooks, not friggin' beanies. Beanies. That's another one people call them. NBC has 4 straight weeks with cup races where rain affected the race. They did run Nashville, but start time was pushed up about 30 minutes. So there you go. For the last 5 weeks, I think rain has played into the picture. The best part of Kick the Baby was he would reply with, "I'm ready, bro." Says Glock. That's a fact. You remember the Cartman with the pot pie? That was another big one. Man, win the pot pie. So that was another big one that a lot of people like to throw out there. Frankie Munoz is and of course my name's Kyle, so you know which one they threw at me. Don't put it in the comments because it's YouTube. But yeah, I got a lot of that one in high school and beyond. In between the lanes, Frankie Munoz is racking up 10 finishes in the ARCA series for sure. Frankie Munoz is a really good race car driver, and he's done it the right way. He raced late models, and then he moved his way up. He didn't just decide to jump into ARCA, so I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. and he really seems to love the sport. He likes motorsport, and he really likes NASCAR. So it's good to have that positive energy. There's a positive story every time you talk about Frankie Munoz. It can always be a positive story. So that's in a world full of all NASCAR fans. Just having something typically negative to say. It's good to have Frankie Munoz as a genuinely positive story. Ever since Dover, weather has been brutal for sure. ARCA sucked last night, but I love Iowa Speedway. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup should have a weekend there. IndyCar has been successful there. I don't get why replacing the Richmond date. Yeah, I don't know why Richmond has 2 dates. Take at least one Richmond date away. I don't know. There's a lot of politics to it, and SMI owns these tracks and that track, so there's a lot of logistics to it. But I'm always been a big proponent of, other than Talladega and Daytona, I think everywhere should have one race date. With the exception of maybe Charlotte, because the 2 Charlotte dates are so different. You got the Roval and the regular Charlotte race. Ross is a Bushman now. That's funny. Dale Jr. said when he signed with Bud, he didn't even drink beer. They asked his dad if he had one at a company dinner, if he had to drink one. Senior said, "That's pretty funny." That's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess he was more of a liquor guy back in the day. I don't know what's worse, having chicken pox or watching Jeff Gordon win a race, says Corey Wilson. So, yeah, obviously back in the day, Jeff Gordon had as many detractors as he had supporters, I think, which is part of the fun of it. Robin Marks says, hell yeah. How about Sheldon Creed? He's got to stop trying so hard. He's hurting himself. We make our own luck, says Shy. Hey, there you go. Weird finish at the end of that one for sure. Glockopus says, I stayed up late last night to catch Goodwood. They had an awesome NASCAR feature. Yeah, Goodwood, if you haven't been watching that, that's really cool. They've had some really classic, not only just NASCAR cars, but just really it's always a good deal, and I'm glad it's on TV this year. I can't remember if it's always on TV, but this is the first time I've seen it on TV. But it had so many cool cars. The Garage 56, which is really cool. Skull Bandit, the 92 Tide Lumina. And the Brits showed us much love. So there you go. Much appreciated. The Tide Lumina is actually right there. It's really bad, and you can't see it because my camera sucks. But right there where my finger at, that's a model car I put together of the number 5 the Tide Lumina. Oh, my God, that Cartman, says Glock. So, yeah. Ski guys, I'm getting home, says Sha. Napa racing fan. I can't stay, but I'll watch your stream later since there's no NASCAR race today. Still IndyCar, Toronto today at 1:30 p.m. But on Peacock, unfortunately, have a good one. Robin Mark saying, go Frankie. I appreciate you watching Napa for as long as you could. Fun fact, my screen name is based on Cartman's pronunciation of Kyle. It says, say Kyle, not Cal. So there you go. Let's see. BB's Cartman impression is too good, says Galactopus. Let's see. MBR. For the reasons you said, I hope Frankie wins and stays in the sport. Me too. I hope he gets a win rather soon. And I know he will at some point, but I hope it's sooner rather than later. Shy says, Cartmanisms. Respect my thought time. That was one of my favorite. That one and you will respect my thought time and big cake. And you remember the one where he was I can't remember what he was doing, but he kept singing the Elvis Presley song in the guitar. So those are probably 3 of my favorite Cartman moments from South Park. Saw Wallace recent vids. Rain's still happening. Yeah. I think the rain is going to be there. I hope they get it in tomorrow because the Northeast has just it's unprecedented, I guess, in the Northeast, what they've been getting. So hopefully they get it going over there. Let's see. Thoughts on the Xfinity race yesterday? A lot of people yelling about the restart stack up. I missed it, but it looks like a decent race. I heard the race was good too. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was working. If you follow the Twitter page, there's a separate project I'm working on that is going to I guess coincide or just be, I don't know. I'm working on 2 cars, I guess, essentially. And I was working on one of them yesterday. So there you go. It's on Twitter. Just a couple screenshots or just a couple of phone shots. But there you go. The Kyle's Mom song. But that's not YouTube friendly. Yeah, that's another one, Glock, for sure. They sung that one to me a lot. Let's see. My first NASCAR race was at Loudon. We spent the night in the woods across the track. Woke up in the truck and realized a lot of crew guys were doing the same. Yeah, I mean, when it's a Monday, sometimes that's just the way you got to do it. And back in the day, like I guess it just depends on how far back in the day you go. Back before they had these big like fancy haulers, the teams would just rent these nice like Mark III vans, and you'd see two or three vans per team, and they'd just be sleeping in the van, doing what you got to do back in the day before it just blew up and became the big sport that it is now. Nemechek held up the restart. It was legal, but a crap move. Commentators defended John Hunter, but in my opinion, just can't do something. That does not mean you should. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do it. Says Shy. So yeah, that's one of those. That's one of those deals where you where if you don't like it as a driver, you just you let him know next race. You know what I mean? So he might have some of that coming back, especially in the Xfinity series where some of those guys give 0 Fs. Let's see. I got to put aside. It really does sound like Cartman. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with South Park back in the day, so there's no doubt about that. I've had a lot of practice with that one. MBR, that's freaking awesome. Granite State of Mind, says Ian Fisher. It looks better for tomorrow. No rain or only a small band, so good. That's good. So I'm glad they'll get it in. I guess I don't know where I'll be watching it tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to watch it. Hey y'all, how about that first SRX? Bummer it didn't go the last 20 laps or so. Hamlin would have lost. Denny sucks, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I think Ryan Newman would have got him too. Like I said, Newman and Deegan had the right strategy for that race where they saved tires. And that makes me think that next race, I think you're going to see a lot more people saving tires because they're going to see what Newman and Deegan did. And I think they had the strategies to, Newman had the strategy to win the race. And Haley Deegan definitely would have got fourth. I don't know if she would have got to the third place car, but the way tires were falling off, she might have, but she definitely was going to have fourth place. Thumbs up on the video or you'll feel bad, says Robin Mark. So yeah, if you want to give the thumbs up to the video, it would be much appreciated. Hello, Kyle. We went 2 years to Loudon, says Daniel Dunn. I have not been to Loudon. It is on my list, though. That and Dover, I guess, and Watkins Glen as far as tracks up in the Northeast. Those are the tracks that I want to get to as soon as I can, if scheduling and stuff works out. Ian, you got it. Used to be the Superbike races. It was called Lacona. The thing that I like that Fox does with the Xfinity Series and Truck Series is that they got Cup Series drivers in the booth. I know that NBC has taken over coverage. I do like how they put like even and let's just go to SRX because even ESPN did it. I like that SRX put Joey Logano in the booth. Joey Logano is really good in the booth, so he's definitely whenever going to be at least probably 10 years at minimum before Joey Logano retires. But he did a great job on the SRX booth. Yeah, I like drivers being in the booth as well. I did like the all driver race, so that's definitely a cool deal. Yeah, if your name is Kyle, like us, then you got the Kyle's Mom song. Also, the City Walk guy saying Kyle, which came out as Kyle. Yeah, yeah, I got you. Not my shitty pork, not my shitty chicken. Let's see. Nemechek is taking lessons from Denny. He sucks too. Yeah, so John Hunter Nemechek has a really aggressive style. He's I've always thought it was funny that all these people liked him that normally like super clean race car drivers, and I'm like, man, you guys have not seen this guy drive yet because he's super aggressive. So I knew it eventually would come that people saw that John Hunter Nemechek is hyper aggressive, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong or right with that. I'm just saying he's hyper aggressive, and I was pretty much laughing because it's sort of the Carson Hocevar effect. They're super aggressive, and they were I guess when they were the underdog, everybody liked them, and then when everybody saw how aggressive they could be at times, I knew that would go to 50-50. So it's always fun to watch that from a distance. We are going to go this year, but it didn't work out, says Danielle Dunn. Oh, that stinks. I hate that. Hopefully you can make it next year. All my friends call me Kyra for the longest time. Especially after the human centipede episode, says Glocktopus. Yep, that's pretty funny. Yeah, this was before flights or big haulers. It was cool to talk to the crew guys with messed up hair and go watch the race. Yep, that's ironically what built the sport. And then when it got bigger, I don't know, it just became less grassroots, blue collar the longer it went on. Galactopus cuttlefish and asparagus or vanilla paste, talking about the South Park episode with the shitty chicken and the shitty pork. Let's see. I believe in you, Claire. Says say Kyle, not Cal. So we're doing South Park references, just in case anybody is wondering what's going on now. What kind of race will we see either today or tomorrow? Says MBR. Hopefully it'll be like a tire fall off race. Hopefully there's a lot of tire fall off, because when I saw that in the SRX race, I was like, man, I missed that back in the day. But I don't know. These tires are so much wider than the Xfinity series, or even the tires they use in SRX. So and totally different track too. But Stafford and this New Hampshire. But I'm hoping it's a tire fall off race, because that's the only thing that's really going to make short tracks and stuff like that really good races with the package that they have right now with the shifting and all that. So hopefully we just see a lot of tire fall off and it ends up being a good race. But typically at New Hampshire, somebody figures out the setup and takes off. That's normally what happens. They either figure it out at the beginning of the race, which makes it terrible, or they'll figure it out about midway, like Eric Almirola did. And when that race that Eric Almirola won, once he figured it out, it was never in question. He just took off and was gone about midway through that race. Galactopus, say Kyle, I'm laughing so hard right now. And so apparently is say Kyle. John Hunter Nemechek is way worse than Chastain, in my opinion. I'm not. I like the way Chastain races, so I don't have a problem with an aggressive style. But like I have been harping on for a long time, when they were trying to make Ross Chastain the bad guy, I was like, there are like at least 10 to 12 other drivers that drive way harder than Ross Chastain. They were determined to make Ross Chastain the bad guy, and it has not worked. Let's put it that way. It's backfired in their faces. I think they have created more Ross Chastain fans than they have created people that hate Ross Chastain by trying to make him look like this bad guy that's always wrecking people all the time. And then you watch every Sunday, and half the people that complain about how Ross Chastain wrecks are wrecking somebody. So it is just hilarious to me. Like, all these guys drive aggressively. So when they complain about another guy driving aggressively, it is just hilarious to me. But yes, John Hunter Nemechek, in my opinion, is way more aggressive than Ross Chastain. If a car, for reasons of necessity, make unapproved repairs after a practice or qualifying session, why allow that car to qualify for pit selection? That's a fair point, Brickyard. That is a very fair point. Maybe that's something they need to take a look at, because that's you're still getting an advantage for basically being illegal and getting caught. Need sprint car horsepower. I would love to see more horsepower, but NASCAR's take on that has been they want to keep the horsepower low to encourage other manufacturers to get into the sport. So they don't seem like they're going to move off of that. I'm picking Harvick, Truex, and of course Melonhead, says Robert Marks. Yeah, Ross Chastain's numbers here are very good. So we'll see. BB, please tell me you've seen the NASCAR episode of South Park. Where I have seen it. Joins the Cup Series and Butters is his crew chief. All right, that's my last South Park comment, says say Kyle. I have seen that episode, and it's a good episode. I guess they've never really had a bad episode. Team America, World Police, that used to be America, heck yeah, except they don't say heck. That used to be my ringtone back in the day, back when we had the old block phones and stuff like that. Keep crying, JFB 48. Watermelon haters. Let's see. What could easily see Harvick taking this for a possible final W? Especially because a couple years ago, of course, I think it was a different car back then, but I don't know if it was the next gen car or not. But either way, when we saw Eric Almirola win it, so Stuart Haas has at least some idea of what to do to get the setup here. So if Harvick gets that set up, and like I said, he's got good numbers here. Let's look at Harvick's numbers real quick. Where did I put that at? There it is, right there. Kevin Harvick, average finish of 5.3 in the last 3 races. He has 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 72 laps led, an average start of 9.7, a best finish of 5th. His lowest finish is 6th. So Kevin Harvick, he could easily get it done today if they hit the setup right. And this is just a setup sensitive track. MBR, I subscribe, but who was your first favorite driver? My first favorite driver was Richard Petty. And then they took me to my dad and grandpa took me to the RCR shop back in the day, back before they had the museum or anything. It was just the shop where the museum is today. And we signed a registry. And after we signed the registry, we didn't think anything about it. I thought they were just, I was a little kid. I was just happy I could sign my name then. But we didn't think anything about it because we thought the registry was there just to see how many people were visiting or whatever. Well, when I got home, like a week later, they sent Dale Earnhardt Sr. sent in the mail a postcard, autographed hero card or whatever you want to call them, with his signature. It said to Kyle from Dale Earnhardt. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like that's still to this day my favorite piece of memorabilia. So I bumped him up to equal level. I didn't stop pulling for Richard Petty, but I just pulled for Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. And those were my two guys. And to this day, I still pull for Legacy MC, Petty GMS, whatever iteration of the 43. I still pull for the 43 team, and I still pull for RCR, and then anybody named Kyle. So it's not hard to figure out. Those are my favorites, and I like Ross Chastain as well. He's grown on me. I like his blue collar background and his way of driving. But RCR and then anybody named Kyle is typically who I pull for. Kyle Sieg, Kyle Weatherman, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson. Makes no difference. Let's see. Yeah, that was my Richard Petty and then Dale Earnhardt. So they were even for the longest. 79 Daytona is the first 43 fan through the Andretti years. I remember, so I became a fan. TJ Morshed, glad I got the okay from the boss to stay for the race tomorrow. That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad you're going to get to actually see it because it always stinks when you buy tickets and you can't watch the race because it gets rained out. That's the worst part of a rain out for sure. Mark 63, Kurt Busch drove like Ross early in his career. Oh, yeah, for sure. Kurt Busch was a wild man. Like he toned it down and became so much more skilled at his craft. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I don't hate on that. I know those drivers will eventually figure it out and they won't be aggressive at the wrong times. And that happened with Kurt Busch. That happened with Dale Sr. You know, go through the list of drivers who were hated. Ernie Irvin, they were hated for driving aggressively. Eventually, they figured it out and learned how to pick their spots as to when to be aggressive. And I knew it would happen with Chastain too, but it's always fun to watch before they learn that particular deal. William Thomas is the race postponed until tomorrow. The TV schedule until Monday. Yeah, it's going to be at 12 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. Mr. R at Escobar Yarborough. Yeah, Cale Yarborough, super underrated. Unfortunately, he has like some type of rare genetic protein disorder. So he's they're making him as comfortable as he can be, but unfortunate turn of events for him. But he, in typical Cale Yarborough fashion, he said, "I've lived a good life, and I'm not disappointed about anything." So that was the most Cale Yarborough response ever. Just one of the tougher guys in the sport of all time. I got BB audio on and watching women's pool semis. Kyle, you pool commentary is not matching up. LOL, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. It depends on what you're watching. I remember some diving from the Olympics back in the day. They sort of call diving the same way they call golf. I don't know how they call the actual races in the pool though. I don't know if that's loud or not, but when they're going up to dive on the platform, it's sort of like golf. So that's the only thing I can remember from pool stuff. Say Kyle, HMS hasn't won New Hampshire since Casey Kane's 2012. Wild last Chevy was 2016 with Harvick. Yeah, it's definitely there. You go. You can pull. That's another bet. If you want to go manufacturer, you can just pick Toyota and Ford because it's pretty much not been a Chevrolet track. That being said, because I said that, it'll probably be a Chevrolet that wins it. That's usually how stuff like that works. I have Brad K sweeping stages 1 and 2, and Ryan Preece coming on to steal the win late. Says Matt Hunter. That's not a bad pick. Ryan Preece definitely. He's got to be one of your favorites. And I didn't even talk about his odds, but let's take a look at what Ryan Preece's odds are because he's got to probably have some hometown odds. I'm looking at BetMGM here just for reference. Oh, Preece is down here. No hometown odds for Preece. Ryan Preece, 12,500 plus 12,500 for Ryan Preece. So if you want to take a stab at the hometown guy, he's got some seriously good odds. If you believe he can be a good underdog pick. Your story is awesome. I can't imagine being a kid and getting that postcard. Yeah, it was it was life changing, dude. Because I was like, wow, like they go from being somebody you see on TV to being like a real person. So it was pretty crazy, and I still got that to this day. Say Kyle, I pull in order 24-5, rest of HMS, anyone named Kyle, and anyone from Florida. Hey, there you go. I like it. Say Kyle. We're lining up pretty much same drivers then. Any feedback on the amount of time commercials were during SRX? I don't remember how long the commercials were, but it felt very seamless compared to what I'm used to watching with NASCAR. And also, they did a lot of side by side and stuff like that. So I felt like I didn't miss anything on track. There might have been one live action commercial that I remember, but I remember sort of trying to remember to keep track of it. But then I got so involved in the racing that I lost track of it. And that goes back to the product on the track and stuff like that. But it felt seamless. I felt like ESPN did a better job with the commercials. MB says I was at the 2001 Daytona race. He was on fire that weekend. Not being a Dale fan, I quit watching for years. I understand. That's I went with Kevin Harvick when the Dale stuff went down. But I do remember. I know a lot of people stopped watching during the Jimmy Johnson era. Because that's one that I was old enough to remember the full Jimmy Johnson era. So I remember a lot of people stopped watching because they're like, Jimmy Johnson's just going to win again. So a lot of people got out of it during the Jimmy Johnson era as well. That's a great RCR Dale story, says MB. I appreciate it. I don't think any Cup champion won a race in their retirement. And to be fair, Richard Petty signed autographs for anybody that would ask for them. I was always, as a little kid, just too nervous to go up and ask for one. So actually, Earnhardt sending it in the mail was probably the best thing that could happen because I was always too nervous. I think my dad toted me in his arms to get Kyle Petty's autograph, and that was the first autograph I ever got with at North Wilkesboro during the Busch Series race. I think he won in the 7-Eleven car or something like, or maybe it was an ARCA race, but he won in the 7-Eleven T-Bird, and I got his autograph for that one. I don't think any Cup champ won a race in their retirement year. I can't recall one. Robin Mark saying swerving Ernie Irvin. I used to love Ernie Irvin in that Kodak 4. Man, that car was awesome. I got that one up there too. It's somewhere. It might be out of picture. It might be. It's right here. Can't see it because of the. I can't even see it in my camera because it's so blurry. But yeah, I got him and the 4 and the 5. So 2 references to model cars I built as a little kid. Let's see. I used to love Irvin in that Kodak 4, Holly Farms, and Cale Yarborough. That was a tough looking car. I did love that number 11 Holly Farms Cale Yarborough car. That thing was good looking. We had a local DJ who got in trouble for saying he watched women's tennis with the volume all the way up, but would be in the other room listening to the grunts. That's wild stuff. Jay Campbell says Priest is a local boy. I think he raced. He raced modifieds up there, so they sort of claim him. Anywhere he goes up north, he's considered the local boy, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see. I agree with your theory that path back to Cup is through 2311 would be fitting. If he ran the 01 car his dad used at Ginn Racing, that would be pretty cool. That would definitely be pretty cool. You catch the Eldora Million or the Kings race. I didn't catch any of it. I didn't catch anything Friday night. Unfortunately, I was working late, so Friday and Saturday I haven't caught anything. Did you catch the Eldora Million or the Kings race? I just read that one. I keep reading the same ones over and over again. Let's see. But I didn't catch it. I appreciate you being on here, One Wise Guy. But yeah, I wasn't able to catch either one of them. I did see the Kyle Larson wreck though. Let's see. The SRX drivers intros were like Sunday Night Football when the players introduced themselves. Yeah, that's cool too. So that's one thing maybe NASCAR can think about going forward, or Fox or NBC, I guess I should say. Thanks, Kyle. Everyone hit the like button, says Danielle Dunn. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. JJ killed it for me, says Shaw. Cheating Chad era. I think a lot of people got turned off just because it became so predictable. Sort of like F1 back in the day when Michael Schumacher was winning all those races, and then of course now with Lewis Hamilton, and now I guess looks like Red Bull is going to be the next one to start stringing them together with Mad Max Verstappen. Hey y'all from Sandpoint, Idaho, says Cassandra. What's up, Cassandra? What's up, Sandpoint? I got to meet Dale Sr. in Victory Lane in the Rolex in 2001. He jokingly gave me crap for my 24 hat with a big smile on. on his face and thanked me for being a fan. Super nice guy. Says, say, Kyle, yeah, that's the thing, man. He was the Intimidator thing was more image than anything else. He was pretty cool at the racetrack. Maybe not in the race car. He was hyper competitive there, but to the fans, he was always good to the fans, from what I've heard. Without Chad, JJ, I've got a guy that's got a really good story about that, so I need to interview him for the channel. But he's got a cool story about Dale Sr. When he came to Orange County just to support the Busch Series. He wasn't even racing in the Busch Series race. He was just there to support the Busch Series racing at Orange County. And the guy's got a really good story about that. Without Chad, Jimmy Johnson would be Mr. One time, maybe two time, says Shy. Yeah, I mean, it's a team effort. Like, I've never you can say the same thing with Richard Petty and Dale Inman. Dale Earnhardt had several different crew chiefs, but all the crew chiefs Earnhardt Sr. had were good crew chiefs. But yeah, it's definitely a team effort. Ray Evernham, when he was with Jeff Gordon, you saw a significant. You saw how much better Jeff Gordon was with Ray Evernham than with some later crew chiefs, for sure. So it's a total team effort. You got to have everybody in place to win a championship. There's no doubt about that. I built that Model 2. Says Jay Santos. Yeah, I used to love making model cars. I wasn't great at it, but I had a fun time doing it as a kid. IndyCar, NBC production is second to F1. Wish NASCAR could do similar with Flow Racing, to be honest. Man, Flow Racing is I think they're taking over. They're going to be a big player here before too long. Hi, Mark. Robin, One Wise Guy, says Cassandra. Anyone have any Myrtle Beach resort recommendations? I haven't been to Myrtle Beach in a long time, so probably since 2016 or 2017, the last Cars Tour race there. Not the last Cars Tour, but the last Cars Tour race we raced there. So it's been a hot minute. I don't know what's even still standing over there. It's been so long. MX race on NBC. I know the track's not MX race on NBC right now. Yeah, that's actually what I was watching right before I popped in here. Looks like Danger Boy Deegan was not doing well in this one. I got to go to a wedding tonight. Let's see. Hope you have fun at that. They're always pretty good. Dawson Fair. Let's see. North Myrtle Beach. So there you go. Any particular hotel? So yeah. Anybody got any thoughts on reservations in North Myrtle Beach? Let's see. Let them know down in the comments. I would be cool if Ross next year, with him being aligned with Anheuser-Busch, ran the 7. That would be rad. Matt Hunter, good idea. 79 Daytona 500 Yarborough throwback scheme while Kale is still around. That would be a really cool idea. Maybe we should get some traction going on that. Let me think on how to get the word out there. Kale competed in the second season IROC Series 1975. Yep, he sure did. I can't remember if he won one or not. I remember the first year was won by Mark Donahue. Donahue. Before I was thinking about Hawaii and Donahoe, so sorry about that. That wasn't any disrespect toward Mark Donahue. I remember he won the first one, and I think Mark Martin won a bunch of them. I can't remember if Cale Yarborough ever won a IROC championship, though. I think he has, but I might be completely wrong about that. Is the IndyCar race going on right now at the streets of Toronto? I don't know where. I don't really keep up with IndyCar like that, but I'm sure it should be. IndyCar is Peacock only. Peacock only for IndyCar. Can't interact much playing Diablo. Hey, Diablo, there you go on the screen. But F1 is what you get when there's no homologation. Yeah, for sure. It's just whoever can build the best car to the specs given that year. Mr. B, MBR, Mr. B, MBR says. Escobar Airbnb will get you the best places. So there you go. Check out Airbnb for North Myrtle Beach. I forgot to provide earlier context about who should be the 2311. John Hunter Nemechek. Yeah, I got you. In the 01 Gen car, because that's what his dad used to drive. Robin Mark says, howdy, Cassandra. What's the weather at the track? It's raining right now from what I've seen. I think it's going to rain the rest of the day. There's going to be some spots here and there where it's not going to rain, but for pretty much the rest of the day, it's going to rain. But from what everybody said in the chat, it looks like they're going to be good to go for tomorrow. Steve Letarte, in my opinion, worst crew chief ever. He was the death of every driver he crew chiefed for. Says Shah, but he's He's in the gambling sphere for NASCAR now. So he's got a gambling show. So if you want to check that out, might not be a good crew chief. Maybe he can get you some good picks. Final four in NASCAR. Final four. I think I like. If I was looking at the top 5 in points, and right now, if I was going to make a final four, I think I would have to make it. Where did I put that at? I had it over here somewhere. Here we go. I think I like the final four you got right here. I think it's going to come. I like these right now. And I'll throw Larson and Blaney in there as well. Top 8. I think that's where your final four is going to come from. You got Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and William Byron. I think any of those guys could be in your top 4. But as it stands right now, I like William Byron in the final 4. I like Kyle Busch in the final 4. The other 2 are going to be crapshoots. But if you're going to go statistically season-long points, just who's going to be the most consistent, get a win here or there, Martin Truex and Christopher Bell. If you're going to go outside of that, I would have to put Larson in there because even though he has stacked up bad race after bad race, he comes back and gets a win. He's got 2 wins on the season, and Truex. So if I had to pick a final 4 right now, I'd go William Byron, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson. But I wouldn't count out Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, or Christopher Bell, especially Christopher Bell. I think Christopher Bell gets there as well. This could be Christopher Bell's second win of this race. He's typically really good here. So that would be some combination of my final 4 there. But I don't know. You guys let me know who you would put in there because that's what I got. I got Larson, Busch, Truex, and Fast Willie B. I don't know how Dale Jr. can stand to be in the same room as Steve, says Shaw. They're pretty good friends, so I don't know. Let's see. This year, says MB, I got you. Anyone know what motocross on Peacock is? I don't know. They got motocross going on NBC on USA, so maybe it's on Peacock as well. So no race today. Yeah, one wise guy. They've already called it. It's going to be tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time. I would pick the opposite of whatever Steve says. Says Shaw. So there you go, Steve. Shaw saying just go opposite of Steve Letarte and become a millionaire for entertainment purposes only. TJ Mooreshed, my side yard here in New Hampshire can host multiple families of bass today. There you go. It's been unprecedented, the rainfall that the Northeast has gotten from what I've seen on the TV. Let's see. Figures that only Sundays I get off to watch the race. They always get rained out, says Whitman. That stinks, man. I hate that for you. I feel your pain, though. When I worked in a factory, I felt the same way. I would be going in there on Mondays and on the free Wi-Fi. I'd be hopping on my phone and watching it wherever I could watch it in corners of the factory, not doing what I was supposed to be doing on Mondays. But neither was anybody else because it was Mondays, so who cares? We got 85-degree humidity and wildfire smoke so bad. They say stay inside, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. It's even with all that rain, I guess they still got the wildfires. I guess the rain's not going to the right spot. Green flag for the NASCAR Cup race at New Hampshire is scheduled for 12:05 p.m. according to Bob Pockris. So there you go. One wise guy tomorrow at noon Eastern, says Shaw. Letarte should have kept in the studio with DJ Shriek Burton, and Rick Allen as show host, Shaheen Petty Earnhardt in booth, and Brad Daugherty on pit road. Brad Daugherty doesn't get enough props, in my opinion, for how good he is on the microphone doing TV. Would NASCAR let Sony put SRX on his Cup cars as a sponsorship? Oh, that's a good question. Man, that's a good question. That would be next level. I would love. That's a good question. They're very specific as to who can sponsor and who can't sponsor. So I don't know. I know for Cars Tour, when you race a NASCAR race in late models, they make you cover up the Cars Tour sticker. So my guess would be NASCAR would not let SRX sponsor Tony Stewart, a Tony Stewart car in the Cup Series. But that's a good question. But I know for the late model stuff, and this was before Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick and Justin Marks and Jeff Burton bought the Cars Tour. But before that, I know every time that we went to a NASCAR event, especially Martinsville, if you had any Cars Tour stickers on that late model, you had to either take them off or cover them up. So that was the deal. I know they don't like any other racing series other than their own. 9 weeks of weather delays. I bet Denny wins tomorrow, says one wise guy. So there you go. There's another bet for Denny right there. BB, kudos to you. Don't know if you do this always, but impressive. Yeah, I do this unless I'm out of town. I do this before the race, every race, and I try to do it after the race as long as the races don't end at some crazy time. But I try to do the post race as well. Appreciate you, MB. Glock says they really need to go back to scheduling around meteorological trends rather than the efficient or shortest distance method. This is like 2 months straight of rained out races. It's getting absurd. I agree. It's something they definitely need to look at scheduling for in the future. It's funny that NASCAR did it the right way for so long, and then people thought that they were smarter than everybody that had come before them, and they had all these other different ideas, and now we're in the rainiest part of the season, or rainiest part of these track seasons, and that's when the races are scheduled for. So it is what it is. El Nino plays into it too, so it is what it is. Dirt tracks in New York this summer have been ruined with weather. Oh man, dirt. It's even tougher for dirt when it rains. That stinks. Rick Allen said yesterday they could change the name of South Boston Speedway to Burton Speedway. Yeah, maybe. I don't think he's going to buy it. That's the big rumor. I don't think he's going to buy it. I've got pretty good information about that. So I don't think he is going to buy it. And I'll just throw that out there. I don't remember him being all that good at South Boston, but then again, I was going more to Orange County and I was a little kid too. So, but I remember being super pumped up that the Burtons got to the Cup Series. So I pulled for both of them. The number 8 Robesto's car was my favorite for him, and Ward Burton in the Busch Series. My favorite paint scheme of his was the number 2 Hardee's Buick. I love that paint scheme, but the Caterpillar for Ward Burton was a close second, and it was a very similar scheme when Ward Burton drove the 31 Caterpillar. So I thought both of those were good schemes. Steve Letard is nothing but a homer. You just listen to him talk when he talks about Junior Motorsports or Hendrick Motorsports. His voice is all high and mighty. Happy. Everyone else is Debbie Downer, says Stephen Emilio Jr. Yes, it's hard to deprogram that stuff out of them after they've been competitive for so long. But hopefully at some point he gets a little bit less homery about it. Everybody has their biases, though. You can tell Mike Joy is a big Ford guy because he's always talking about fast forwards. And you can tell that Clint Boyer, he's always on the Stuart Haas Racing Ford train. So everybody has an inherent bias at times. I'm not a big Ray Evernham or Jeff Gordon. I might have done real well with him, but he destroyed Casey Atwood's career, says Mark 63. Yeah, he moved Casey Atwood up way too soon. Casey Atwood should have developed in the Busch Series of probably 1 or 2 more years. But yeah, he moved him up way too soon, and then they dumped him in a year. He sort of was very similar to what happened to Daniel Hemrick, except Hemrick, where as far as their rookie year, they only got one rookie year, and then they were replaced. So it was sort of a bad deal, especially because Casey Atwood, at the end of his tenure, his last 3 races, he was looking really good. He was putting together some good runs, and then you find out that he wouldn't be back next season. So that was definitely a bummer. In the worlds of Kyle Petty, let me say this: in between the lanes, Farmer's Almanac is pretty accurate. Hey, there you go. Imagine a Vegas race this week, 124. There were the other day. Hey, there you go. So who's your pick to win the NASCAR Cup race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway when it gets postponed until Monday? Let's see. I picked Keselowski, I think. I like Keselowski's numbers here. Also, Martin Truex Jr. because it's a Monday race and he's good here. And the other one, of course, would be Denny Hamlin. I think it's going to be a Toyota. Christopher Bell has to be in that mix as well. But like I said, I like Brad Keselowski as your wild card. Kevin Harvick would be another wild card. But I'm picking either Keselowski or Christopher Bell was my original pick. But then people were talking about the Monday thing with Truex. So I'll take Bell out and pick Truex over Bell. Might be a mistake, but I like Keselowski or Martin Truex Jr. Flip a coin. Flip a coin on that one. Let's see. Let me say this. That's incredible, says Matt Hunter, Kyle Petty. Maybe the drivers should race track drivers when it rains. It would be cool if they had like some type of backup plan for rain stuff, just for entertainment purposes. Today's Sacramento area is going to be 108. Hey, there you go. Let's see. Oh, Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas. I got what you're saying now. I thought you were talking about, for whatever reason, my mind switched off. And I was thinking about, because we were talking about numbers and gambling. So whoever was saying Vegas hit record numbers at 124. Yeah, there you go. Mark Barnum. I totally zoned out on that one. Imagine a Vegas race this week. It was 124 degrees there the other day. Yeah, so Vegas is hitting records too, as far as the heat goes. Put them to work, says Shy. Will SHR ever be back, or Rouse Racing at the end? RFK is back, in my opinion. They're both of their cars are in the playoffs. They've both been running good. Brad Keselowski definitely was probably going to win that race at Atlanta if it hadn't rained. So I feel like RFK is back. SHR I think is going to switch manufacturers at some point, and when they do that, I think they'll be back. But they're going to have some growing pains because they've got nothing but young drivers next season. Let's see. Seriously, they started the Whelen Modified race at 6 p.m. and it had a rain delay on lap 69. Can't remember many rain delays when they started them at noon. So there you go. Or at least they got them in. I remember plenty of rain delays, but they got them in when they started them at noon. And it just works out better when they start them at noon. Because as far as what made NASCAR popular, nobody wants to say it out loud, but everybody watched NASCAR before the football game started. So when NASCAR started their races at noon, you would watch the NASCAR race, and the football games normally started at 2 o'clock. So you would watch NASCAR, then you would watch football. But NASCAR has gotten big-headed and wants to compete with the NFL. So during the NFL season, they should just start their cup races at noon, because most of the football games start at 2 p.m. Except a handful of races wouldn't finish before Busch Series TV time started, says TJ Moorshed. I forgot about TV time. Let's see. Ward Burton, number 22 Dodge Pack, number 22 Caterpillar Dodge. Says say Kyle, not Kyle. Love Ward. Ward was the man. I can't do a good Ward Burton impression. Most voices on NBC are high and screechy. Makes my ears bleed, says Sonny V. That's been the biggest complaint. They scream too much and it's screechy. Do drivers volunteer, or are they selected for the test? They are paid. I don't know how that deal works. Typically for a tire test, I'm sure Goodyear pays them, but I don't know how hanging back for a NASCAR test goes. I'm pretty sure NASCAR doesn't pay them anything. Say Kyle says, "Good Lord, I went to Vegas July last year. Thought 108 was bad. That's insanity." Mark Barnum. It's a dry heat though, so it's not humid. I always get tripped out when people talk about that. Hot is hot. Let's see, Sonny V. I agree. Like a voice with some timbre or bass. They sound like competing auctioneers. Says Shah, talking about the screeching. SHR should pursue and acquire the services of SVG. Hey, there you go. He might could go in that 10 car. Maybe lure former Stewart crew chief Darian Grubb away from Trackhouse back in the fold. That could be something that could happen. We'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, SVG saying that he is going to try to race in Cup next season he's thrown a wild card into the silly season deal for sure. Sonny, to be in the booth on NBC, you have to agree to be oh God, banded like a calf, losing its eggs, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. Ward Burton and Sterling Marlin, forever the best voices in NASCAR. Sterling Marlin was a good one. Hope he is doing good as can be, given his situation. Shy laughing at Mark, laughing at Mark's joke, not laughing at Mark. What did you do yesterday, Burger? Yesterday, I stripped down a project car that eventually will be on the channel at some point. But it was an all-day adventure. I got it mostly stripped all the way down. There's a few odds and ends I need to get. I did it all pretty much by myself. But to get the glass out, I want somebody, the front and rear glass at least. I want somebody back there to catch it just in case, because I'm trying to recoup some of that money at a salvage yard. to offset the cost of the project car. Trying to do it the right way, but it'll all come out. It's not the Fiat. The Fiat is also going to be a project car, but apparently I'm crazy and I needed something else to do. So we've got 2 project cars coming. If we get a 10K for the Fiat, of course, I'm not getting cocky, not thinking I'll get to 10K. But if we get to 10K, the Fiat project car will happen as well. When Ward won the Daytona 500, John Boy and Billy asked why he talked so different from Jeff. Ward said, "Well, that's because his room was in the north and mine was in the south part of the house." Yeah, that was definitely a classic answer. Any projects, BB? Yep, I am working on. I'm working on the script for the Fiat project, and then the other project. I sort of just wanted to do a project to see how the workflow for that goes, so that the Fiat project would be better as far as I would have a run at another project before I do the Fiat project, if that makes any sense. I would have a practice run with this project, and then the Fiat project. Hopefully, when I film that, it would be better. I guess is what I'm trying to get out there. 118 here in Avondale, Phoenix, says Glock. Man, the West Coast is it's getting hot out there. I guess it's always hot out there, but it's those seem like crazy numbers to me. It is a crazy heat wave going on right now. What did you heat weave is when they weave the tires back and forth. Did you think about the Dirt series on TV? It was great, man. Ian Fisher, that Dirt series was really good. I saw the first 3 episodes. I think there's 1 or 2 more, but I need to see the last couple. No joke on the humidity. We've been cutting the air on with a butter knife the last few days in Central Florida. Yeah. Humidity's it's just too, they're both miserable. First off, it's not a competition, but it's 2 totally different types of miserable. One, I can breathe when it's hot, but I'm still hot. Like West Coast dry heat. South heat, it can be 85 and it's just so humid. You feel like you can't freaking breathe. It's miserable. It's just 2 different types of heat. You're not as hot, but you just feel like you can't breathe. Whereas like West Coast heat, you just feel like the sun's just leaning on you. Southern heat is just like you can't breathe. You don't want to go outside and do anything because I don't know. It's just weird. Have you ever heard the Ward Burton skid steer loader skid? I have. Like this. Like it's a classic. It's an all timer. BB, will you exceed? You will exceed 10K subs. I guarantee it. Says Shy. I hope so. Either way, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So either way, how it happens, it's going to be a good time. Shaw says you're awesome. Man, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are the reason it's fun, and it is awesome. Just keep up the good work. I will. How far are you away from 10K? I think like 150 something, 100. I think I was like 142. Hold on, I can pull it up. Let's see. According to this, I'm 843, 9,843. So that's like what, 157 if I'm doing my math correctly. So I think 157 away. And when we get to 10,000, for those who don't know, I'm going to do a Fiat project car. Let's see. That Dirt series was awesome because the one, like I said, I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I need to see the last two or three maybe. But yeah, the ones I saw were awesome. You ever do a video montage of your experience with NASCAR racing / cars? Says MB. I haven't done, I guess, a montage, but I have like a practice day. I have some practice day videos up. I have the North Wilkesboro race we did just recently with Tate Fogelman. So I do have some stuff like that up there. And this project car I'm building here, I'll definitely put the GoPros and all that. And one of my very first videos is me racing go-karts. So there is some of that on there as well. I stumbled on a Pro Tag game, and I do have the limited late model that will at some point be on the racetrack as well. So there will be like live action content coming. Live when it happens, I guess I should say. I ever want to do and maybe I can do a video montage one day when I get all of it pieced together. Stumbled on a Pro Tag game with a high-pitched announcer. It sounded like it was a prize fight. Says Brickyard Brickhead. 1600 at One Wise Guy. The Southwest is a convection oven. The Southeast is a sauna. Hey, there you go. That's a good way of putting it, Robin Marks. I'm right outside Burlington, North Carolina. It's 85 with a real feel of 105. It's disrespectful outside. Says Ken. I'm not too far from you when I'm working there, Ken. I work in Burlington, so that's pretty cool. A lot of the times I work in Burlington. Let's see. I can smell your hat, says Dawson Fair. It smells wonderful, Dawson. Let's see. Say Kyle, same with the cold. Lived in both states, and I'll die on the opinion. 45 degrees in Florida is colder than 20 in Pennsylvania because of the humidity, wet and cold. Yeah, the humidity plays I guess a heat or cold index factor for sure. If you're selecting drivers for short track package tests, which drivers are you going with? Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin. Let's see. Kurt Busch, since it's just a test, Kurt Busch. I'd put Dale Jr. in there because he's thinking on the TV side of it. So I would definitely have Dale Jr. in there. Tony Stewart, because Tony Stewart's going to give you his honest opinion. And I know some of these guys aren't active, but you see where I'm going with this. I want guys that know what they're doing. They're going to give an honest opinion about how the racing would be, not how the car feels and all that. Because some drivers are just so programmed into how the car feels, and my car is not handling good, which you would expect for guys that are in the moment and trying to win championships. It's hard for them to deprogram and think about the entertainment side of it, I guess I should say. Wasn't the live stream all started when you broke 3K subs? Something like, I can't remember how many. I can't remember how many subs it was, but yeah, that's I made the deal. I was like, I will start live streaming if we get the 3K subs, or whatever. I can't even remember what number it was at this point, but yeah, that's how the live stream started, and that's you guys pointed me in the right direction as far as live streaming goes, because it's been super fun. I was so nervous. I was like, man, nobody's gonna watch. Nobody's gonna watch it all. So I overcame that fear, and these are one of the more fun parts of doing the deal now. How did you like the SRX race? Number one, says Walter Flair. I loved it. I love the whole SRX series. I think it's the greatest thing since IROC. I think they took the IROC model and improved upon it in so many ways. So I've really enjoyed it. I enjoy the BB community. You look forward to the lives and hanging out with everybody. Yeah, that's part of it. Like a big part of why I started this channel is because working in late models, you get so many people that are just they're disenfranchised with the big Cup Series stuff, so they don't want to talk about Cup Series stuff. So I was like, well, I want to talk about it. So I just started talking about it here, and like for a year, nobody cared, like nobody watched or whatever. And then all of a sudden, just I couldn't even tell you why. Just one day, it all picked up, and it's been pretty cool ever since. I try to answer as many comments on the regular videos as I can, and these live streams, I try to get to as many of the comments as well. I know I miss one or two here and there, but it's never on purpose. Do you miss seeing Kyle Busch with M&M, Snickers, and Skittles, Toyota Camry, as well as driving a Toyota in general in between the lanes? Yeah, I can't believe Toyota let him go, and I can't believe Mars Milky Way backed out of such a successful partnership. But yeah, it is weird not to see. There's not even an 18 on the track right now, so everything about it is just bizarre. But it just shows you how fast things can come and go. Say Kyle, come to Iowa in the winter when it's minus 15 and minus 40 wind chill. That wind chill will get you. I remember when I lived in the mountains of Boone, man. That the wind chill. It was never even the cold. It's just the wind. The wind will cut right through you, and the wind makes it feel twice as cold as it actually is. So good point with the wind chill. That's the cold version of humidity. Only difference between Northerners and Southerners, we stay inside during different seasons and sound different, says MB. That's a fair point. I never thought about it that way, but you're 100% right. Have you heard about Joseph Lombard, a.k.a. NASCAR situation about 3 years ago? Yeah, and I typically don't talk about that stuff, but he was being a creep, and he got called out about it, and that's that's all you can say about it, right? He got called out about it, and it needed to happen, and it's despicable what was going on, allegedly, because I don't know if he got convicted of anything, so I have to say allegedly for legal reasons. It's called a montage. We need a montage. Say Kyle, sticking with the theme we had earlier of South Park and South Park created stuff. Speaking of which, did you know South Park creators had a movie, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. was in it. He drove a number 3 yellow taxi cab. It was called Basketball. So just to full circle with the South Park and the South Park creators, there is a Dale Earnhardt tie to that as well. Crazy. Good live stream so far. I hate summer because my igloo melts and I'm homeless for 9 months, says Shaw. Let's see. Say Kyle, Mark Barnum, hard pass. My blood isn't made for that. LOL. Talking about the wind chill. Yeah, that's anti-Florida weather for sure. We should do a bologna burger meetup at a race one of these weekends, says Glock. Yeah, that's definitely something I need to get better at. I need to have a specific location and time. I just saw where how Bob Pockers does his, so I guess I should do that. I'll put it. I guess I put it on Twitter, and I'll put it because you can do the community post or whatever. I guess I'd make a community post and put it on Twitter because those are the only two. So these are the only two social media platforms I really use. I use Twitter for news, and I use this for posting videos and live streaming. My boss told me about your channel when we were talking NASCAR. Whoops. NASCAR one day. I've been watching since. I appreciate you like dislike. Appreciate your boss as well, man. Let's see. Karma on Gibbs says Cassandra SRX needs. Talking about with the number switch and all that. Yeah, they haven't had the Ty Gibbs hasn't had this season he wanted to early on, but since about a quarter of the way he started to take off. But yeah, definitely not the Xfinity series for him, but he's getting better every race. SRX needs to get bigger with going nationwide, but Kyle Busch, his season has been outstanding. You can't take anything away from the season he's having. SRX needs to get bigger with going nationwide. Yeah, I think I could see a situation where they expand to like 10 races, and they did their 10 races right before, I guess, the NASCAR playoffs start to heat up and stuff like that. If they scheduled it like that, I would say probably 10 races. You don't really want to do any more than 10. You might even want to cut it off at 8. But then you just go to different areas of the demographics, the demographic, and you keep switching up the tracks every season. Like you wouldn't go to the same tracks every year. I think they've stumbled onto something there. But 8 or 10, I would cut it off at 8 or 10. This is great because BB is a real guy, and it comes through in the videos and live streams. Real followers too, says Sonny V. Man, I appreciate it. Like I said, I try to be as straightforward as I can, but respectful. Like I don't want to just like blast somebody and be a drama channel, but I try to be as respectful as I can and give like my real actual honest opinion about stuff. Even if sometimes I could do like a different video with a fake opinion and get like way more views. I'm just not into that. A lot of sponsors that leave have been sold to European owners. That could be true. F1 with their documentary series Drive to Survive is, I guess, taken a lot of the it got a lot of pop and a lot of buzz, and that became the buzzy thing. And I guess sponsors wanted to go over there for a little while, but hopefully they'll be back. Funny because I feel like NASCAR is actually on a generally upward trend right now, despite what people say in public. Brickyard says, funny how so many drivers in some sort of business are connected with NASCAR media while driving. Spoke against NASCAR. Now it's a 180. While driving spoke against NASCAR. Now it's a 180. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Everybody wants to talk good about NASCAR now. When they were driving, they were like, "Oh, rah, 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 rah." It's pretty funny. Big Burger Meetup for the win. Hey, Big Burger Meetup. Which place would you pick? Well, definitely Martinsville, because I know I'm going to go to Martinsville just about every year. That one's built in, so that would be the easiest one. But like I said, I have to look at things basically week to week with the late model schedule, because I never know who's going to pick me up. This week I wasn't even at South Boston this week because I got dropped. They were like, "We don't need your talents this week," so I was like, "Well, that sucks." So I wasn't even at South Boston. Shout out to Landon Huffman though; he won the race. That was his first win at South Boston. So big win for him. Barry Nelson, Nelson Motors, Nelson Motorsports. Good win for them, and just a cool deal there. But I wasn't there to see it, so that sucks. Let's see. What's ESPN's contract? Oh, sorry, poll. Do you find your age range of your listeners 10 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 40 and up? We have YouTube analytics, so I can definitely tell you it is 30. Typically, I think 65% is 30 and up. 30 and up is my audience that listens or watches the show, like dislike. So it's 30 and up. For whatever reason, I'm not reaching. I'm not reaching the younger market, so I'm too old for the younger market, I guess. Let's see. What's ESPN's contract with SRX? It's a 2-year deal. This could be a promising future with ESPN. Yeah, I think the ESPN deal. That's the other aspect. ESPN has a huge platform, and they can get it out to several different avenues. But yeah, I think it was. I want to say it's a 2 or 3 year deal. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but and that's just a guess. But that's kind of what I remember off the top of my head. So I hope I'm right. But I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. And I think SRX did the right thing, and they'll grow the sport. Now after that 3 years, it might be a totally different landscape. But I think for right now, they're doing the right thing. Basketball and Book of Mormon are just about the only thing. Basketball, sorry, only two things I haven't seen from Matt and Trey. Now I'm going to go out of my way to watch basketball now. LOL, thanks, BB. Yeah, it's just a brief moment, but he's the taxi cab driver, and it's a number 3 Chevrolet Caprice is the taxi. It's pretty awesome, dude. Definitely check it out. If you haven't seen basketball, check out basketball. It's creators of South Park. They made a movie, and it's really good. If I mean, it's South Park, so it's South Park good. If you're not into that type of comedy, don't watch it. Shaw says, I am 50. Dawson Fair, did you see Luke Fenhouse win the ARCA Menard race? I heard about it. I didn't get a chance to see it. Iowa last night after passing William Sawalich on the final lap. William Sawalich is going to be another one to watch, as well as Luke Fenhouse. But yeah, that's definitely good on them. And the fact that Frankie Munoz is able to keep pace with both of those guys tells me that Frankie Munoz is good as well. Shai says, my guess is BB is 45. Let's see. What did you think of Denny Hamlin's paint scheme outside of FedEx, Interstate Batteries, OfferPad, Coca-Cola, etc.? Says in between the lines. Let's see. I like Denny Hamlin I like that Denny Hamlin Coca-Cola number 11. I'm not a fan of the OfferPad. So Interstate, I like Coca-Cola, then Interstate, then OfferPad. Those are in that order. I'm not a fan of the teal and orange for whatever reason. I'm very surprised by how Gibbs has been racing. Hasn't been nearly as aggressive as he was in Xfinity. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I think he'll get there though. I think once he gets comfortable, he'll start being aggressive. That could be part of it. That could be part of it. He might not be comfortable to be himself in the race car just yet. I'm predicting a rowdy victory at Stafford next Thursday night. Says in between the lanes. That's not a bad bet. I think Kyle Busch will keep coming back till he gets the SRX win because he's that type of competitor. Why did Gibbs qualify so badly? Surprised me pleasantly, says Shaw. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. This is typically a Toyota track, though, so I would expect him to be good in the race. Maybe they were using him as an R&D car to test out a qualifying package. I have no clue. I didn't get a chance to watch qualifying either because I was, like I said, tearing apart the future project car. BB is the kind of guy you would want to have a beer with. Says like dislike. For sure. Back in the day, I had plenty of them. I was definitely a bar fly back in the day. I used to pop in and get one after work every day at full steam in Durham, and then I would drive home from my job after waiting an hour. You had to be reasonable about it because I was drinking. It was called a working man's lunch, and it was pretty heavy pint to be consuming. So I would kill my beer, do some chit chat, and then head to the house. Drink responsibly, live responsibly. Cool. Was hoping you'd say a late model track. Says NBR. Let's see here. Oh, late model track. Oh, so any Friday night, just about any Friday night, you can find me at Ace Speedway. Or any Friday night that Ace is having a race. I don't just go to Ace Speedway on Friday nights when there's no race there. That would be creepy. I'm typically at South Boston, but for whatever reason, I wasn't at South Boston this weekend. It is what it is. But I'm usually at South Boston. Like I said, the late model deal is it's hit or miss. I either get called in to work or I don't. So it's hard to predict sometimes. But Ace Speedway, definitely Friday nights, I'm always there. Where did Herman place for the late model race? I heard he qualified really well. I don't know. He was racing for Marcus Richmond though, and I hate that I missed that as well. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, hopefully he did well. I have to look it up on Race Monitor. Not 100% sure. Did you see that the NASCAR? He might have got. There was a big wreck early on. Trevor Ward got out of shape and caused a lot of, I guess, a pile up behind. Is what I was told. I didn't see it. What I've been told. Trevor, I'm friends with Trevor, so I don't want to put any misinformation out there. But something happened with his car, and something got stacked up behind him, and a bunch of cars got in that wreck. So I don't know if Kenny Wallace got in that or what, but I didn't hear where Kenny Wallace ended up finishing. Did you see the NASCAR Xfinity race that John Hunter Nemechek got his 4th win of the season yesterday at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in overtime? Says, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I've heard people talk about it. They said he stacked up the restart or something, seems to be the controversy. And then the other controversy, of course, is Sheldon Creed and Cole Custer getting into it at the end of the race. So it wasn't like, I guess, I don't think it was even on purpose, but they had a wreck that collected a lot of other people in the field. Some of us are grandpas. Old guys rule, says Greg Brown. Hey, I'm happy. Whoever wants to talk. I'm not like I never got the whole age demographic thing that companies do anyway. Like, so it is what it is. If you want to talk about racing, I don't care how old you are. It's cool with me. Let's see. Basketball is really bad, but good bad. Even Trey and Matt are embarrassed about it. I loved it as a kid. Because they were basically making fun of every sports league and how they expand. If you think about how they expanded the basketball, just spoiler alert, but if you think about in that movie how they expanded the basketball playoffs, just think about the final NCAA Final Four. It used to be 16 teams. Now it's 64. Now it's like God knows how many they got. Same thing with football. It started off as the Final Four. Now they're going to add more teams to the college football playoffs. It is so hilarious. They were so spot on about how pro sports are. Like, they start off small and they're really fun and good. Then the bigger they get, the more ridiculous they get. And NASCAR are the same way, the playoffs, right? We've had all these iterations of the playoffs. So they're sort of spot on with it. Who do you see in late models that you've been impressed with? I'll tell you one. He's a Cup driver now, but Daniel Suarez jumping in a late model car and being good, like right off the bat, I was like, damn, Daniel Suarez is really good. He's probably one of the more underrated Cup drivers now that I saw that. But one of them I just mentioned, William Sawalich. He's been very impressive the times I've seen him race. Landon Huffman winning that race at South Boston. I mean, you got to put him up there too. I know he gets a lot of run because he's got a YouTube channel. But you shouldn't forget the fact that he's a really good race car driver. Bobby McCarty is another really good race car driver. Bobby McCarty should be in the Xfinity or Truck Series right now. He is a 3-time Cars Tour champion. So I don't know why people can't find money to put him in a truck, or we're going to go on for days about this. But I'm going to name one more. But Bobby McCarty should be in a truck or a Xfinity Series car. Obviously, Lane Riggs is already up there. He's doing some truck stuff, but he's another one that's really good. Jared Fryer is one that probably flies under a lot of people's radars. Jared Fryer should probably be in a truck or an Xfinity Series car. He is one not only and Voppel, obviously you have to say Voppel, but he's with Junior Motorsports, so I'm assuming Voppel is going to get a chance to get up there at some point. But Jared Fryer is another one. He has won the Cars Tour when they had the super late models. He won a championship over there, and he's won the Cars Tour regular late models. So he's another one I'd like to see up there. And there's so many. I'm going to forget somebody, so I don't want to keep going on this. And then one of them sees this and they're like, "Oh, you should have said somebody. You know, how could you forget this person or that person?" So there's a lot of guys I think should get a shot. But I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop talking about it right now because I'm going to forget somebody, and I don't want to do that because there's a lot of good talent out there. And there's obviously some guys that have aged out at this point. The guy I work for, Craig Moore, he's a guy that probably should have been Truck Series or Xfinity at some point. So there's guys, Deke McCaskill, there's guys that have aged out that I would have loved to have seen run, Lee Pulliam, Peyton Sellers, would have loved to have seen run in the Xfinity or Truck Series. So there's a ton of them. There's a ton of them. But let me stop. Philip Morris. Let me stop talking before I forget somebody because I don't want to forget anybody. Because they will come talk shit to my face next time I see them at the racetrack. So that's why I want to stop talking about that one as far as naming names. But yeah, there's a ton of them out there. I thought a Concert Circus. mosh pit, maybe gain the younger ones. And yeah, so we'll do the live stream from a mosh pit next time. It's South Park good. Amen to that. Not for everyone, but it's but most of it's hilarious. So some of you, yeah, that's my point. It's South Park good. It's not going to be like award-winning Forrest Gump type film, but I liked it. It's a comedy, and it is what it. I don't know how well it holds up today though, because that's like an early 2000s. But Dale Senior's in it, so just watch till you see Dale Senior if you hate it. What time does the race start today? Says Joe Sample. I don't know. I think it starts tomorrow at 12:30. It was going to be 2:30 today, but then it's got canceled. So they're going to start it tomorrow at 12:30, 12:05. Sorry, 12:05 Eastern time. How Chastain do in dirt modified? I don't know, but he was another one. His car wasn't all that great at Wilkesboro, but I could tell that he knew how to drive a late model for sure. Let's see. That 11 car looks really good in person in New Hampshire. I'll have to check it out. I don't even know what he's running, but I know I really like the Coca-Cola scheme he's got this year for sure. And anything interstate batteries. I'm an interstate battery sucker. Those old school interstate battery schemes were awesome. Some of the newer ones have not been great, but the old school ones. I think he ran at Utica Rome. Says MB. Ty Gibbs qualified because he slipped up slipped up in 1 and 2. Let's see. I say, Kyle, South Park humor is God tier. It's tied with my favorite comedy show. People are always shocked when I tell them it's tied with Frasier. Oh, Frasier's good. Frasier was a good one for sure. Cheers was good, but I felt like Frasier actually ended up being slightly a little bit better show. Cheers was just about Diane and Sam. Would they get together? Brickyard Brickhead says Gibbs sideways out of 2 killed his time. The linchpin, of course, for an SVG SHR scenario is Smithfield is sold on Shane being a good rep for the company. His skills are beyond debate. I agree with that, Matt Hunter. No doubt about that. Ken Bogus, Kyle Busch used to have Kyle from South Park pit board back in the day when he was in the 5. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've forgotten about that. Dude, good call there, say Kyle. I'd forgotten all about that. I think NASCAR put a kibosh on that, though. Let's see here. Stephen Emilio Jr. Says, thanks, Dawson Fair. Do you like Bubba Wallace? I don't even think about Bubba Wallace. I don't like him or dislike him. He's just like another driver. It's like saying, do you like Eric Almirola? He's not like a guy that I think about all the time. He just sort of they win races here and there. So it is what it is. I like some things about Bubba Wallace. There's some things about Bubba Wallace I definitely don't like. So he's like anybody else. But I don't get fixated on him like some fans do. So that's my call on Bubba Wallace. He's just another driver to me. But he represents a lot of other bigger things other than just being a driver. But I just look at him as a driver. So I forgot about Denny Hamlin's Yahoo Toyota Camry. The Yahoos are pretty good too. I like the purple, and he will be driving Mavis Tire Toyota Camry TRD at New Hampshire. I haven't seen the Mavis Tire one yet, so I'll have to check that one out. Trey and Matt are future tellers. Says Shah. Simpsons as well. Yeah, the Simpsons is pretty crazy. Thanks for hanging out, BB. Going to do a live later today. Gives us something to do. I might. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You want to do one at like 8 p.m. or something like that? Do a video about your personal perfect season. What points format would you use? The schedule. What track would you use? Oh, that would be a deep dive. I'll have to think on that one. So that is a good idea. Let me write it down so I don't forget. Let's see. Is award-winning BB 5 Emmys as far as South Park goes. So there you go, South Park with the 5 Emmys. I couldn't get into Frasier, says one wise guy. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's one of those deals. Interstate batteries and Quaker State schemes are the best of all time. Oh, that Quaker State scheme, when Daniel Suarez brought that back, but even the 26 back in the day, for whatever reason, it looked way better on the Buick. I think because the Buick had a little bit of gold trim in the Quaker State. But that was where it was at. I like green and gold, says Shaw. So, yeah, you're remembering the right Quaker State that I remembered. Hell, I bought a Quaker State oil just because I like the packaging. There you go. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Bubba Wallace has too much ego, says Cassandra. So yeah, that's the thing. He's super polarizing for a lot of reasons, but one of them is he's just he's got a, what is it called? He's a hothead. He's got a short temper. So that's one thing that a lot of people that don't like Bubba Wallace don't like about him. And we're not going to get into Bubba Wallace because I know how this comment section is going to go, or any comment section when you start talking about him. So we're just going to cut the Bubba stuff off right here. Dawson Fair, you're funny, BB. New Hampshire repaved the first two grooves in the corners. It will be a much better race because of it, says Glenn Pillar. I hope so. Just post a notify for tonight, and we'll be there. Bubba is here for a good time, not a long time, says one wise guy. I like your hat, Bologna Burger. Where did you get that at? This was from the Hendrick merchandise hauler at Martinsville last year, not this year. Stephen Emilio Jr., you're welcome. Bubbles Wallace, the Bubble Bursts slot, says Shop. A lot, says Shop. We don't have a race to watch today, so we're going to keep you here until 8. Says like dislike. So maybe that's the case. All right, but that's actually, I'm gonna call it end of this one, and we'll be back on. What do you guys think? 7:30 or 8? Let me know down in the comments. The first 1 to 10 wins, either 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Let me know down here, and I'm just gonna wait to see. You know what? I'll just put up a poll. I'll put up a poll. That's a lot easier. I forgot to close this poll. Imagine that. Oh, we got 2 for 8 right now. 2 for 8, 1 for 7:30. So let me just start the poll to make it easier. You know you're bad at spelling when you misspell time. Like, that's how bad at spelling I am. I'm so bad at spelling that I misspell time. There's a colon instead of the 2 dots right there on the time. So that's how bad I am at spelling. Let's see. We got 12 votes. Looks like it's creeping toward 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock is looking like the winner. We got 13 votes, 69%. So I think we'll call it right there. Looks like 8 o'clock is going to be the stream, and I'll try to keep it going for a pretty good while. So we'll go as long as it needs to go, and we'll start it at 8 o'clock. But that is the end of this one. I appreciate it, and I will catch y'all at 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks for your time. Peace.